Hey ladies and gentlemen, Richard Core Kenobi here, and I'm back again for another honest review, and today we are going to be finally reviewing OKKO, Let's Be Heroes, the newest hit show on Cartoon Network created by Ian Jones Quantity. So yes, I apologize, I am 2 months late with this review, but hey, as they say, better late than never. I wanted to watch more episodes and decide, was this show even more amazing, and does it deserve a second season? And the answer to those questions are yes and hell effing yes. This is an amazing show, but I'll get into that later. So yes, and of course, the newest episode will be out on Monday, which is of course the OKKO and Captain Planet crossover, and I will have my honest thoughts on Captain Planet tomorrow, so look forward to that. So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, now, I want to say this now, I want to give a quick shout-out. If you want to see an even awesomer review of OKKO, then go down in the link below and check out my friend Cap's review. He did an amazing job analyzing this show and talking about many of the things that everyone else has pretty much said about this show. So, yes, please, go down and support him. It would really mean a lot to me. So, yes. Off the bat, guys, I know you guys want to know, is this show awesome, and does this fit right up there with great classics like Steven Universe, Adventure Time, Bree Bear Bears, and the formerly deceased regular show, and Justice League Action? And the answer to that is yes. I would highly put this on the level of Steven Universe. And I know that's pretty much a bold claim, but that is because, ironically, that the people who work on the show have worked on Steven Universe. So they have some experience. Now, this started off as a couple of shorts on Cartoon Network's website that for many years, people, including myself, were demanding that this be made into a show, that Cartoon Network would get up off their asses and greenlight it, and the concept and the structure of the world and the characters, how could this not be a show? This could be their next big original hit. And finally they have, and this show has rocketed off with so much popularity, and it has now been announced that it will be getting a second season. So yes, but let's dive right into it. So if you want a basic premise of what recurs in this show, here's the gist of it. This little boy named KO, who lives in a world of heroes, not superheroes, but, well, I guess you could say superheroes. He lives in a world of heroes where they are determined how powerful they are by these little cards called POW cards. And the more you get your power level up, the more of a better hero and more powerful hero you become. So he enters his first day, and he gets to meet these two people who work at a shop market called Brad and Enid. And basically, they're employed by the most powerful hero of them all, Mr. Gar, whose power level is 11, and basically KO gets into some shenanigans, and by the end of it, he really wants to work at this place. He's so fascinated by this shop market, and he wants to be friends with Brad and Enid, which he does, and by the end of it, his mother Carol, who has had some relations with Mr. Gar, who has worked with him in the past, she convinces him to let him join, and he employs him. So yes, that's about it. Now, right off the bat, let's just talk about the characters, because that's what I love about cartoons or animes or just anything in general. It's always about the characters. It doesn't matter how your movie or show looks. It doesn't matter how good the score is. What ultimately keeps people coming back are the characters, and are these characters relatable if you took them off of their cartoon TV screen? And this is what I love about great shows. This is what has always attracted me to these things. And OKKO's characters are just as lovable and amazing as Steven Universe's characters. And in fact, I can see everybody falling in love with each and one of these characters and pretty much explaining to us why they like them. And right off the bat, KO, Enid, Brad, Mr. Gar, Carol, these 5 main characters are just amazing, well-written, three-dimensional characters that in some way or another you can relate to and you can understand their struggles, and you just basically would want to be friends with them. And KO is an interesting character. Of course, he's a little kid, and of course, he has an anime-style hair, but he's a kid with the heart of gold, and he has great dreams. So he's pretty much no different from Steven Universe. But that's the thing. Just like Steven, he's instantly lovable, and he always does the right thing. He is just a pure, kind kid. And he is still learning, and his power level is still growing. He's not as powerful as his friends Enid or Brad, or even Mr. Gar himself. So the title character starts off as someone who's still developing in training, and I think that's what I'm gonna look forward to in the coming years, to see him grow and look back and see where he started. So yes, he's instantly lovable. His voice actor, Courtney Taylor, does an amazing job voicing him. And like I said, there's just something I love about him. I can't really explain it. You just need to see it. He's just the type of character that you can find adorable, and you would just feel like he would be there to stand up for you forever. And yes, and again, I don't mean to draw similarities to Steven Universe, but again, he really does have those similar characteristics that Steven has. But I think that KO is a little bit younger. I think he's slightly more adorable and slightly more pure-hearted, but that's just me. I still love Steven Universe. Please don't take that the wrong way, everybody. So yes, if you love Steven, basically what I'm trying to say, if you love Steven Universe, you're gonna love KO. You're gonna love KO as a character, and I can't wait to see how powerful he becomes and what happens in his future. Like, what is going to happen, and how will he grow into the hero he wants to be? So many questions. And then there is Brad and Enid. Oh my god. Okay, so these two are kind of the modern day stereotypes. Like, Brad is a cool, cocky guy who's an alien, by the way, and he's awesome. His power is that he can, you know, levitate things with his finger, which is kind of awesome. And he, again, you've known somebody like this in your life. Hell, I've known many people like this in my life. But just like all characters, he does have a soft side. He does have some flaws, and he is relatable, and he is a complex character, which I like, because, trust me, characters like this back in the days, well, for example, Wheeler from Captain Planet, yeah, he would just be the cocky guy, but overall, it didn't matter what type of flaws you pushed on us, we would still hate him. But Brad is the opposite of that. And while he starts off as the one-dimensional cocky person, he does grow over the course of 39 episodes, or 38 depending. Actually, no, I think it's 33. Okay, 33, I apologize. Over the course of the 30 episodes, you do get to understand him, and you do get to relate, and you love him. And he does actually have some personal history with Enid, and their chemistry together is very genuine, and it's very well done. And again, they're not pushed as love interests, don't get me wrong, but you can see how they would still be friends, and when Brad is around KO, he even has more great chemistry. And it should be known that Brad is actually voiced by the creator himself, Ian Jones Quantity, so that's even awesome, and I love the voice he gave him. Again, it fits well with the overall design, and it just makes him that much more likable. So again, if you like cocky characters who like to maintain this mannish, macho persona, but deep down inside they are just as soft, and they are just as vulnerable as you and I, then you'll love Brad. I think you will. And he just has some of the best jokes in this series. Like, oh my goodness. And then we have Enid. Oh, or as I like to call her someone's next waifu, because, oh my goodness, she is like the ultimate, okay, here's how I can describe Enid. She is like the ultimate Naruto tribute. And that is not a joke or exaggeration. She literally, her powers is that, well, she's a ninja, and she has several ninja weapons like kunais, robes, shurikens, but one of her many abilities is that she can transform into a log. And she is very Naruto inspired. So, yeah, if you like Naruto, you're gonna love Enid. So, yes, but like Brad, she's this typical girl who basically doesn't say that much, but she still does have a sense of humor. She's got a personality. So, yes, she's another stereotype, modern day stereotype, but again, they don't really force the stereotype on us that much. They do scale it back, and they do give her a personality, and you grow to understand, and when you see what she was like before she became what she is, again, that just makes her even more lovable, just like the other two. So, yes, and especially, I love the episode. One of my favorite episodes of this first season is when we see her wanting to become a hero, and she actually gets to try out, and she starts off as being a shy girl, but to see her go from being shy and innocent to badass and stoic, I think that's an amazing transition. And of course, yeah, she's just overall lovable. I can't really do these three characters justice. You just need to watch the show and see for yourselves. You'll know what I'm talking about. And then, of course, you have Mr. Gar and Carol. Again, nothing can be said what hasn't been said. Mr. Gar is just amazing. He is, even though he's not in the show as much, but when he does show up, he does have a strong presence, and he is very, very funny. And his chemistry with Carol is pretty funny too. And also, Carol herself, who is KO's mother, she is very strong, she's very badass, and she's just a great mother. Again, I really like her character, and I don't know what to say. Both Mr. Gar and Carol are just amazing, well-written adult characters, and they're the only two, one of the only two adult characters we have. So, yes, overall, I love their characters just as much, and I really can't wait to see that flashback of how they were when they were younger. So, yeah, just me. But also, let's talk about the villain, because this does have a villain. The show does have a recurring villain named Lord Boxman, who is played and voiced by Jim Cummings, which, okay, imagine what would happen if Megaduck from Darkwing Duck ran a box factory and he built robots. That is the tip of the iceberg of how to describe Lord Boxman. He is just a funny villain, and okay, you want to know how awesome this villain is? He puts, I'm not kidding you, he puts the modern day villains of Powerpuff Girls and Teen Titans Go to shame. Yes, he is 100 times better than the villains in both those shows. And that is not an exaggeration, and again, that's really not a main feat, or that's not even that hard to do, but no, he's very intimidating, but he's also very funny. He reminds me a lot of, you know, just a well-balanced villain who can be intimidating, but funny at the same time, and I really appreciate that. And he is he does have a great personality, and his constant mission is to destroy the plaza by sending out his robot children. Even the robots themselves are funny and well-designed and well-voice acted. They're not just bland robots. They're actually good robots. And I was afraid that, okay, that the villain of this show, Lord Boxman, wouldn't... Like, just because he's voiced by Jim Cummings, I was really gonna be a little nervous if Jim Cummings didn't give it his all, but no, he gives it his all. You can tell he's having so much fun playing the villain, and you honestly just love every time he's on screen. You love him so much that you kind of want to see him win. In fact, there's an episode where he has to not hurt the main three protagonists, Brad, Enid, and KO. He can't hurt or destroy them for 1 day. And you feel his struggle. You feel, you know, how you just feel him. Again, you know, it's like he's resisting the urge not to go over there. And again, by the end of it, when the time's up and he finally does get to destroy them, again, it's well done. I just agree. Yeah, I'm happy he got a win. So, yes. Also, too, one thing my friend Cap pointed out in his review is the soundtrack to this show is amazing. And yes, he is absolutely right. The soundtrack to this show is actually a soundtrack. It has character. It has suspense. Well, okay, maybe not suspense. It has character, action, and it's catchy as hell. Even during the action scenes, you actually get to hear the soundtrack, you know, come alive. See, that's the thing. Because of, okay, Steven Universe is the only other show. Steven Universe and regular show were the only two shows to have great soundtracks. Well, Adventure Time 2, I haven't watched in a while, so maybe the soundtrack got better. But from watching Teen Titans Go and Powerpuff Girls and just hearing the bland soundtrack, hearing this soundtrack is like a breath of fresh air for my ears. And I do. And when I said this show was very anime, okay, well, I don't know if I said it, but this show is very anime video game inspired, and the soundtrack perfectly reflects that. I really want to download this soundtrack. Again, there's classic 8-bit action music. There's classic anime music. There's just a great balance of music here. And it really gets the battles going. And I just gotta say, the composer of this did an amazing job, and I really hope this show gets its soundtrack released on iTunes, because I would buy it. So, yes, props to the soundtrack. Really, just nothing else can be said, but the soundtrack is great. Hell, even the main title, the main opening. Yes, this show has an opening. Even though it's less than 40 seconds, it will get stuck in your head. It will just, you will memorize and know the lyrics like this show, and you will basically just want to download it as a ringtone. And just overall, the soundtrack is amazing, guys. This is just awesome. So yeah, go and find, if you can find snippets of the soundtrack, go listen to it. I would highly recommend it. And then the last thing is the animation. Now, I know Cartoon Network back in the days, the golden age of what made Cartoon Network great is that they would experiment with different shows. Each of their own shows' animation had a distinct look and a personality that made them stand out from the other. This is why we loved those shows back then, is because they took chances, they took risk. But nowadays, Cartoon Network seems to be getting lazier and lazier with their animation. But the only two standouts, well, technically the only three standouts are Steven Universe, regular show, and Adventure Time. These three shows took chances with their animation, and they're able to look great. But shows like Teen Titans Go and Powerpuff Girls just have the laziest animation. But this show just says, fuck that, we are going to go full out with our animation. So the animation is very simple, very simplistic, but it definitely has an anime style to it. The animation will change from here to here in terms of how an anime's animation would change during the action scenes and during the slice of life filler moments. So it's like that here, but I actually think it's very good. It's very reminiscent of the original Teen Titans animation, but not as well polished and clear as that one. But it's still good, don't get me wrong. Again, but if you don't like this type of simple animation and you would prefer animation that's well detailed, well exquisite, and just overall has more effort thrown into it, then I don't really know if you'll like this show for that. But I would say give it a chance, because the animation, trust me, just trust me on this, guys. The animation here has more effort than Teen Titans Go and Powerpuff Girls combined. And that's no small feat. So, yes, and during the action scenes, it really gets me pumped up to see the animation and how well choreographed and stylized the fight scenes are. It's not just lazy like the Powerpuff Girls, and it's not just there like the Teen Titans are. it really is well polished and detailed, and I gotta give them credit for that. And I honestly hope that Cartoon Network continues to support the animation budget for this show, because just what I've seen from this first season, I think this animation definitely deserves some kind of Emmy. But hey, it's not like the Emmys are going to pay attention to this. The world we live in. So, yes, guys, overall, you guys have seen just every bullet point I've hit. The characters are great. The animation is great. The music is great. Everything in this show is great. And the last thing I can give this show is that even though it's 11 minutes, each episode does not feel like 11 minutes. It actually does have a great flow and pace to it. It's never too fast and it's never too slow. Even when it does have a fast pace to it, when the action scenes kick in, they're not too fast. They know how to hold it back. They know how to take their time with it. They really do know how to put simplicity at work during these episodes, and I commend them for that. And honestly, that's the thing. Even when they had their 23-minute special on TKO, it was amazing. It actually felt... I can't believe I'm saying this, but okay. When other shows like Powerpuff Girls feel like they're 20 minutes when they're supposed to be 11, this show feels like 20 minutes even though it's 11. But it's in a good way, because again, by the time you finish an episode, you're just surprised on... oh my god, it's over already? I can't believe it. So, yes, that's another thing I must say. They did an amazing job with the animation and, well, just the pacing overall. Again, the pacing for this is great, and it's some of the best pacing. Not the greatest, but some of the best, don't get me wrong. Each episode just feels like it's well thought out, and it doesn't drag along. It doesn't stop to take that much breathing. Even when it does breathe after an action sequence, again, it does it very well. So I don't think there's anything else I can say, but this show is just amazing. It's very well thought out. It's very well done. And honestly, I'm very glad that Cartoon Network sacked up and they released it to the public, and they've already renewed it for a second season, despite it not doing well in the ratings. Yeah, I wonder whose fault that is. But overall, this show is going to be great. I honestly think this show, if this show came out back in the golden age, it would have fit right at home. But since it's out now, I can strongly give this show a 9 out of 10. It is perfectly well amazing. It's simplicity at its finest. It pretty much takes quality over quantity, and that's what I love about it. Everything is just great from beginning to end. There has not been a single episode that I've pretty much just felt meh, or I've just overall felt was just an okay episode. Each episode ranges from above average to damn great. And again, I commend them for that. So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you can, go watch the show. Please support it. Give it the love it deserves. And I would just want you guys to really, really, really support this show. So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this honest review, then please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know down below. What did you think of this show? Have you seen it? Have you not seen it? After this review, are you going to go see it? Let me know. Let's get a discussion going about it. I really want to hear your guys' thoughts on it. And again, please go support my friend Cap by watching his review. And until then, ladies and gentlemen, this is Richard Korokenobi saying, may the Force be with you. I'll see you later, my fellow OKKO fans. Bye, guys.